Breeze at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Happy anniversary to Tom and Christina McManus.
Thank you very much.
26 years
26 years. You know, it's easy to remember how many years I've been married. So we got married in 2000.
That was a very
It'll just
smart
be
idea.
The year that we're in.
Yeah.
So pretty clever, huh?
It is very clever. You don't
We
forget.
didn't plan it that way.
Literally tax day, so you also couldn't forget.
We got engaged and wanted to get married so fast that there was like to get married because it was 2000 in a Catholic church at Our Lady Star of the Sea. There was literally one slot left, and it was 12:30 on the 15th. We're like, we'll take it.
Okay. Was it a Saturday?
It was actually draft day too. It's the first round of the draft, and it was tax day. And we're like, no, we'll take it. We're ready. We just want to get married.
You didn't think you were going to be drafted in the first round, so you figured you could get married.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, it's funny. I didn't know my career was over when I got married. I had no idea. I thought I was still going to play, you know, and it just never happened. Never got signed I got drafted by the XFL. Did you know I got drafted by the XFL?
I did not.
Yeah, I did. The LA Express team. And I went out there shortly after we were married. This was great. Now, Christina's young. She's like 22, 23 when she got married. I was 29. And anyway, so I went out there. I didn't really want to go out there. My agent kind of talked me into it. He's like, maybe this is the way you could get back into the NFL, try the XFL. And so I went to a team meeting night before. And I'll never forget, like, everyone had to get up and say who they were and who they played with. It was great. Tommy Maddox gets up and he's like, well, I've been all over the place. You know, the quarterback, UCLA, came out early, got drafted, was in the NFL. I've been in the Arena League. I've been in Canadian, Europe, you know, all these different things. And I was the only guy that had played in the NFL for like consecutive years. It was really strange when I said, yeah, last 5 years, Jacksonville Jaguars. And the whole room was like, huh? And I was just like, yeah, it's good to be here. Nice to meet everybody, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so I wasn't really into it. I went to one practice. I was like, this, you know, I didn't feel it. I literally called Christine. I'm like, you know what? I just don't feel it. And it was great. She goes, well, then just come home. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come home. It's over. So I went to the coach. I said, listen, I'm really sorry. You know, you spent this time to have me come out here and be here for a day and a half, but I think I'm going to hang it up and call it quits. And ironically, they went on to win the XFL championship that year. I don't know if anybody ended up going to the NFL. I think Tommy Maddox actually got another run at the NFL, but my heart at that time, it just wasn't in it. It didn't feel right for whatever reason. Now, when I came back, I caught the wind again, like a year later, like, cause I was only 30. I was 30 years old, 31. So I still had the itch.
Yeah.
But then you're like, it's over. You know, then you know it's it's really over when, you know, you can't keep up. You just can't keep up with the younger dudes anymore. So, but great run. It was fantastic. And yeah, so we got married so quick. We didn't care that it was draft day. We didn't care it was tax day. We were like, let's get married. And then we got pregnant right away. You know, that whole Catholic family planning thing doesn't work. Trust me. I'll tell you to stay away from each other on the hottest days of the month. You're like, I don't think so. It's really challenging, especially for me. But nonetheless, no, man, it's awesome. She's my favorite person in the whole world. She really is. And the girls, of course, as well. But she's great. She's fun to go out with. I love being with her the most. You know, I'd pick her over anybody to go spend time with, without question, on any given moment. So it's been awesome. I think the good Lord's, I thank him every day for her and the kids. And I will say this, because people ask me, how do you keep, successful marriage? And I said, well, you got to keep the heat, which means, remember back when you first met each other and what attracted to you, try to keep that as close as you can. And I'll credit my good friend Scott Shilbrock, who told me at my wedding, he said, the key to, and he's still married, he's in 33-year marriage. And he said, the key to marriage is the 3 C's: compromise, compromise, compromise. Mm-hmm.
Easy to remember.
That made a lot of sense. So, and then have the good Lord. So yeah, it's been good. But thanks. Yeah, 26 years. I got some flowers. It's the whole roses thing. I always write cards and letters, that type of thing. And then we'll be doing dinner tonight. She's a Libra, so it takes her a little bit to figure out which restaurant we're going to go to. That's just the way it is.
It's okay.
I give her a few options. I'm like, all right, when I get back, I'll call you from after the show. We'll figure it out from there. But it's going to be a great night.
Because it's a Wednesday, you hopefully won't need the reservations as if it was a Friday.
Whatever. We'll figure it out. I mean, we could get in our flip flops and head down to the corner and be just fine, but we'll figure something out.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to weigh in on whether it's an anniversary present that you should get her,
or where you should go,
or where you should go to dinner, 641-1010. Hit the text line designed by Lifetime
for sure.
Enclosures.
Getting her. I think the trip to the BVI's was pretty good.
That's valid.
Pretty good anniversary.
That was like one of her
trip.
dream places.
Yeah, she wanted to do that, so we got it done.
It was someone else's anniversary present to his wife, but you got to go along.
Yeah, listen, I put plenty in. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Bless me. It was great, though. It was well worth it. Well worth the memories.
Yeah. There's a country song by Diamond Rio called Meet in the Middle. And so that comes to mind as soon as you say compromise, compromise, compromise. Like, as long as couples are willing to meet somewhere in the middle, one person's not right, one person's not wrong. It's always somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. My grandpa always said, you don't want to complicate, you want to complement each other in a relationship. And a lot of that is compromise. And so I remember growing up all the time, that's him and my grandma have been married. It was both of their second marriages, but they've been married since 1990 now. So it's been a long time.
Yep.
And that they've going strong. So it's those relationships, you find those little things that work for you. And it's a lot of
it's funny. I wish Seth was here, Seth Payne, who we have on from Houston, because we were teammates at the time. And he said to me, he said it to me at a Super Bowl, like 15, 20 years later. Like, he never said it to me. He goes, Tommy, I got to admit, you're like the only guy that went from being totally single to totally off the market in like less than a day. I'm like, you're absolutely right. I was. He's like, I've never met anybody else that's ever happened to. I was like, yeah, well, I was ready for the right one.
You knew you were ready.
TK, that's right.
That's always an odd conversation or awkward conversation right at the beginning when you meet Christina. Like, there have been other people that
but I'm ready tomorrow.
But
so how long were you engaged before you got married? It was. I know you said quick.
Let's see. So I met her July 4th, but I didn't date till after camp because I didn't see her. So we started dating like August, and I asked her to marry me in December. Yeah, it was go time, and then we got married the next April.
Yeah,
and then had Avery the next April.
Wow.
So yeah, it was quick. Within a year.
Track.
We were married or engaged,
dating, married, kid.
In a year.
That's wild.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Good for you guys.
Too, baby.
We love her.
That's
Absolutely.
right. Well, thank you. Yeah, me too.
You found the right one.
Me too.
Speaking of the right one, the Jacksonville Jaguars pick as of now at 56. Yes, for now. And saw two different mocks today. One, a 2-round mock draft from Mel Kiper, who has the Jaguars taking a guy that we talked about yesterday, Jayshawn Barham, the outside linebacker out of Michigan. Yep. And then if you look at Dane Brugler's 7-round mock draft, he has the Jaguars taking that particular player, Jayshawn Barham, at 81. So they would get that edge / linebacker there in the 3rd round. And then at 56, a little bit before that, he has the guy that Taylor loves, the Iowa guard Jennings Dunker.
Oh, love him. Bring the mullet man.
So, yeah, that's what's so interesting. And we literally just said this yesterday.
Yeah.
There's such a disparity between prospects this year because of the way that this draft sets up. But you get excited when you think, well, I can get a guy at 81 that someone else thought I could get at 56.
Oh, for sure. And that's what Jennings Dunker is, that guy where his range has kind of fluctuated. And I think for him, he had that rise after the season. He started kind of rising a little bit more. But he's a more versatile guy. He can play other than center, he can play guard, he can play tackle. So if you have a guy that you feel like you can move a lot of places, we talk about the versatility and how this regime has brought a lot of guys in here, and a lot of the guys they've signed through free agency or the draft last year play multiple positions or had played multiple positions. So it does feel like that's one of the traits that they lean into being important to them. And this draft will kind of clarify even more. That was last year because they felt like they needed to fill a bunch of holes. So they got players that could play multiple roles. One of the top ones in Travis Hunter that can play literally both sides of the ball. So it'll be interesting to compare the two drafts after this draft of, was it the same trends? Was it kind of some of the versatility and things like that? Or was last year just like, hey, we have a lot that we need to figure out and we're taking over a roster that we feel like we need to do a lot of work on. And then now you feel like you've built that and you have that foundation, so it changes. But that's going to be one of the more fascinating things to see. I heard Primetime talking about that linebacker from Michigan, or whatever, however you want to clarify, edge. Yeah.
Yep.
And Leon was kind of saying it doesn't seem like he technically fits the type of scheme that the defense here runs. So it's interesting, but sometimes schematically that's what you're used to seeing in college doesn't mean they can't do the other things. It just kind of means that's what they were asked to do in college. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, he for me, again, if he came off the bench, and just rushed the passer, I'd be okay with that. Even being taken at 56, if that's what he can do. He had 4 sacks last year and 23 pressures, I believe.
That's correct.
Which, whatever, you never know with production in college. Will it jump to the pros? Will it be better? Will it be the same? Will it not be as good? But it just shows how, like you said, LP, the difference in guys being looked in the second round to the third round. You see in Kiper's Anthony Hill Jr. at 47, Lee Hunter at 48. I mean, to jump up and get one of those guys, I think Anthony Hill Jr. is almost like a Devin Lloyd clone. It feels like. Now, he did, I think, wear 0 as well, so that might convolute. But you watch the way he rushes the passer. He ran a 4.5, so he can absolutely fly. He's all around the ball. I think he'd be a great fit for us because, he can rush. That's one of the things. He could chip, he could rush. He's been doing a good job with Texas doing that. Lee Hunter, how I feel about him. I think he could be a great defense lineman. But whatever, listen, if it is Jay Schwan and he is the guy that can help us get to the QB, to me, he doesn't have to play Sam even. Right. You know what I mean? I don't care if he plays base at all, as long as when they're passing the football, you feel like it's going to be a passing down. He's out there on the field wreaking havoc in the opposing backfield, and that'll be enough. That'll be enough for me because what did we miss last year? When we needed it, when we absolutely needed it. Not to say that one guy wouldn't get there and then the quarterback would escape. I'm not saying they all got blocked and nobody did anything, but collectively, you got to have it coming from all sides to make that quarterback really, really uncomfortable.
And I think what the Jaguars should be looking for is a guy that is already a guy with a lot of pass rush moves. If you're looking for a third edge rusher, if you're looking for someone that is better than Strigow and BJ Green, that is almost as good, well, not almost as good as Trayvon and Josh, but the third edge rusher, you need a guy with that type of skill set. And the scouting report on Barham, Tom, is he's raw as a rusher, relying heavily on athleticism.
Yeah, right. And his run defense is his calling card, is what they say, which you already have that.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't want a project.
And I'm not saying that he's a quote-unquote project, but I would prefer someone that comes to the league and obviously
pass rushing is their specialty, so you can put them in the
like a Yannick Ngakoue. Like he's not going to be great against the run, but when you're in third and long, he's going to get to the quarterback.
And they said in one of the draft profiles, which I heard Leon reading, maybe this exact one or multiple people are saying the same thing, but the cleanest fit is an odd front defense that can deploy him as a strong side rush linebacker, let him set the edge on early downs, unleash him as a designed pressure player on obvious passing downs, a coordinator who blitzes multiple spots, but it does say that stuff maybe needs a little bit more work than the run when it comes to his run defense.
So that feels like that's a Sam type position, right? You're going to cover the tight end. You're going to be on the line of scrimmage. You're going to set the force, so nobody gets outside you. And then you're going to – and Kevin Hardy was great at that. He played Sam. He could rush. He could do everything from – he played all 3 positions at the linebacker position, but he was a great Sam linebacker. So you could see that, and I'd be okay with that too, because you look, again, you're in base like 30-35%. It's not like all the time like it used to be. You might have been in nickel 30%, back in the day. Right. It was always base. We played base a lot, even on third down, even when they went to their 3 wideouts, we sometimes still played base and had our Will, jump out and cover the number 2 to his side because he could do it. But but today it's different. So whatever, if he can play Sam a little bit, great. But at the end of the day, that second round, the number 56 or any of the 3, just get me somebody that can get to the QB, because that's what was missing on a consistent basis. When needed, you needed that extra pressure. And all we're saying is adding to it, which will make everybody else's job that much easier and help them get to the quarterback as well.
Prisco's scouting report said, and we talked about this yesterday because he's on Prisco's better than team for 2026. He's a tough, violent player who will hold up in the run game, and he's twitchy enough to get pressure. So obviously, you can look at every different scouting report, but the Jaguars are going to evaluate what he's done on the field.
Right, of course. And twitchy's great, but look, at the end of the day, does he bend?
Yeah.
Is he a natural pass rusher? You can see it. We have one on our team. It's Green the second. BJ Green the second. You watch him rush. He's got a natural bend to the quarterback. So he may be one of those guys, that's just waiting in the wings to show that he can be that guy on third down or second down.
And if the Jaguars don't take an edge in the second or third round, or even maybe fourth round, I feel like that sends us a message because we're always looking for clues.
They feel pretty good about their
They
guys.
like their undrafted free agents, in those two guys. All right, more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Brunell is back in the pocket. Blitz is coming now. He's going to run. He's coming to the near side. Pump fake across the 10, and he'll go into the end zone. Touchdown, Mark Brunell.
Home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
Hey, Tommy Mack here. When it comes to glass, you don't want average, you want flawless. And Duval Glass and Mirror has been flawless for a very long time, over 35 years, all across Jacksonville. Frameless showers that wow, mirrors cut exactly to your style, fogged or broken glass replaced, decorative tabletops, windows replaced or repaired to stand up to our Florida storms, all backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote today. Only one name around here for Glass and Mirror, and it's Duval.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week and weekend at VyStar Ballpark. Tonight, free t-shirts to first 500 fans on Wear It Home Wednesday, presented by Ambetter Health and Prime Shrimp. Tomorrow is Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Don't miss Fireworks Friday and Saturday, plus championship jersey giveaway on Saturday, presented by VyStar and FSCJ. JackShrimp.com for tickets.
From free agency to the draft, training camp to the playoffs, nobody covers the Jags like Jaguars today. Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony bring the smartest football talk in Duval. Covered by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
When you head out for a night with friends or going to the big game, don't forget the best game plan to win the night is to designate a driver and guarantee a safe ride home. Hydrating between buds is the best play you can make. Bud Light, reminding all to drink wiser.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. This is one of those songs that falls into the category of I've never chosen to play this on my Spotify, but I know it because it's so popular.
Yeah, same. I don't even know who sings it, but I do know the song.
Yeah, I don't know that I know who sings it either. RJ?
Harry Styles.
That's right, Harry Styles.
I
yeah.
would have never, you would have given me 10 guesses. I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of pop music, though, that I'll go in a store and I'll hear it and I'll be like, how do I know the words to the song? I have never chosen to play this song on my own.
Yeah, for me, a lot of it is TikTok because TikTok will use a lot of, like, obviously more popular songs in the background, but you don't see what's playing. It's just like whatever's in whatever dance or trend or whatever's happening. So I'll know the song from that, but I have no idea who the artist is or how old the song is or something.
Mine's a wild thing, you know. You never know where you hear stuff. Now I'm saying, like, you hear it again, you're like, hey,
why do I know
I
this
hear
song?
that. Where'd I hear that from? Yeah.
I used to go to a gym, and
Subliminal.
so the gym is where you'd hear that kind of music, but I haven't been to a gym since before COVID. So
Grocery store plays some good tunes from time
That's
to time.
true. They do.
Yeah, they get into it.
I always sing along, too, when I'm in the grocery store.
Yeah, whistle.
Now they'll be like, here's the oldies, and it's like 1995. I'm like, oh no.
I know. Growing up, the oldies were like the 60s and 70s. Oh, my. All right, back to football we go. We were discussing, of course, like just how the different prospects are going to fit in the Jaguars scheme that have been mocked to the Jags. And look, I think when it comes to this year's draft, we've talked so much about different position groups. And so as we look forward, I feel like we've kind of honed in on what we think is going to happen, at least in the first 2 rounds that the Jaguars have picked. So the second round and the third round. So let's narrow it down. We're going to say defensive tackle. We're going to say edge. Y'all want to throw in tight end?
An off-ball linebacker.
An off-ball linebacker. And then just outside of that, maybe offensive lineman?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. And then a safety at some point in time?
I'm putting
Another
safety a
running
little
back?
higher, personally.
Little higher. Okay. So maybe swap out safety and tight end?
I do think you definitely need a tight end too immediately. I feel like if you get you have a guy that could probably be tight end too right away on the roster. I think for safety, it would be more of a battle because it would be Antonio Johnson, Caleb Branshaw, what we don't know out of Caleb Branshaw, Eric Murray, and whoever that is. Right. So it was more of a battle, but I think because of the unknown of Branshaw, you would like to draft a safety pretty high that you feel like could come in. I mean, you have a guy that missed a whole year of injury and hasn't played that in the NFL. So I do think you need a backup plan just in case.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's smart.
And tight end, I feel like Liam Cohen, so if they do go, let's say, defense the first couple of picks, I feel like Liam's like, hey, guys, I am the head coach, and it's a coach-centric model, and what I think about and what matters.
And Quentin Morris is athletic. I mean, he's an athletic tight end. Yeah, I do too. So I don't think they have to press for one.
Agreed.
I think it depends who's there when they're picking, if they're, still at that point. But yeah, I'd say I would probably say D tackle and edge are number one for me. Like either one. You got to get that first.
Yeah.
Now, if you went and got that, I just love this Anthony Hill Jr. I just think he's like a complete what we need. He can play the run. He can play the pass. He can blitz. He's really good at helping your teammates blitz.
So if he's there, you're going to have linebacker ahead of defensive tackle and edge.
But a linebacker that can do multiple things, right? He's not just a run-stuffing linebacker. So someone that replaces a Devin Lloyd. I could see if having that and then an up front, either D tackle or edge. You might not need an edge right away. Then I could see safety being, because you're right. Like we got Ransaw, we like him, we think he's healthy. Knock on wood that he's everything's good. But you
also
gotta
competition
have a
is
plan.
competition is what they want. What I always find interesting is we talk about competition all the time, right? When it comes to training camp and those battles that are so important. It's so different, Tom, being actually in those meeting rooms with your direct competition. And so, like, is Eric Murray, for instance, let's say he and Caleb are battling for the safety spot opposite Antonio Johnson. Is Eric Murray wanting to help Caleb Bransaw along? Or is Eric Murray like, no, I want this job, and you're behind since you didn't get to play your rookie year.
So Brian Schwartz and I went through that, where we battled it out for the starting position. We were very helpful with each other.
Okay.
I mean, deep down, we each wanted to win the job, of course. But no, there was never like, I'm not going to help him.
Okay.
That's not a good teammate. Because even if you don't win the job, you're going to be the backup, and who knows what happens.
And you want the team to win.
And you're going to be with the guy. So you don't want to like not, you don't want to do that. You want to make it, look, a fair type thing.
Wasn't it Aaron
You want to
Rodgers?
win it fairly anyway.
Yeah.
You don't want to win it any other way. You want to win it like, no, it's fair fight and I won it, and we move on.
Yeah. Wasn't it Aaron Rodgers that famously said he wasn't going to mentor the young quarterback?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
he's a jerk.
He is a jerk.
He is. And some guys would be like that, but the
not
majority,
on this team.
Majority aren't.
The Jaguars aren't going to have those types of guys around.
I was when I went to New Orleans Saints as a rookie free agent, they had Vaughn Johnson and Sam Mills, both all pro. They weren't just pro bowlers. They were all pro inside backers. And you would think they would walk around with a stick up their backside. Not at all. Any question, anything. They would come up to you like, hey, you doing okay with the playbook? You need any help? Whatever. Because they were confident in where they were. Yeah. They weren't worried about me or any other rookie coming in. Now, if you became a rookie that could back them up, then you became important. You became a part of it. But they were always very open to sharing any kind of information. If you had a question, they would never not answer it or scoff or anything. They'd walk you through it and that type of thing. That's the best way to be. And then when you get your chance out there, your rep, you make the most of it. You just show the coach that you're the better guy, and hopefully that happens for you.
Sam Mills was in Baselli's enshrinement class for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Sammy, he was great. He died way too young.
He did, yeah.
He died way too young. He was awesome.
I'll never forget the family coming up and, each of them giving their speeches about him. And obviously, phenomenal linebacker, but also incredible human being.
Yeah,
and that's what I walked away from that enshrinement thinking about.
Do you remember when I told you, I think I told you you guys this story, when I'm out at Saints training camp and the front line, the first line comes out and they're just massive. Yeah. And well, Sam was like 5'9", not real tall, but 230. And those big guards would come out, those big guards with the wide asses I was telling you about. He would get under their pads and drop them to their you-know-what knees when they come out to block him. He was so violent with his block protection that these big 340, they would just hit him and boom, you just fall down. You just be like, holy cow,
how'd
it was
you
unbelievable.
Do that? Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, he had built-in leverage, and he was wicked strong.
Yeah.
I mean, he just was really, really strong. And
but I mean,
he
that's
was a great linebacker.
If you can't do that, right, like that's why it's like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not able
You're
to
5'9".
do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm 6'5".
Leverage is key.
Leverage always wins.
Leverage normally wins.
In financial stuff, in football, leverage, whoever has the most leverage always wins.
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, I think when we talk about, that's what's going to be interesting about this draft, because I think you can make an argument for most positions in the sense of it being a battle and you feeling like it being able to make that room better. But the other conversation is, do you want to use pick 56 on just a piece that is you're not going to see a ton? And I think that's what you have to start to separate now. And you're not used to it here. The problem, when you're used to drafting in the top 5, you're used to drafting players that you're going to see immediate impact and then be a massive part of your team right away. When you talk about, obviously, Trevor Lawrence, when you talk about Travis Hunters, even in the first round in general, usually you're talking about those players making instant impact, and you saying they're going to play a pivotal role on your team. Once you start having a team and you have your quarterback and you have your wide receivers and you have your pass rushers and those things start to settle in and you have your foundation, all of a sudden that draft turns into, you are building for rotation. You are building for depth. You are building for the future. You're building, okay, well, we have these contracts coming up in 2 years we're going to have to start thinking about. So that's the conversations you start having. And to pivot your mind into that is hard when you're not used to having a team that is ready to be a contender in that sense.
To build the floor of the roster.
Yeah. And I think that we also have had Trent Baalke, who wasn't ever drafting, in my opinion, for the future. He was drafting like, let's win right now. I don't really care what happens in 5 years. And that's not what James Gladstone does. That's not how he works free agency. That's not how he works the draft, clearly. He's thinking about the future and building a product that can win for the next decade plus, not somebody that like, here's our window. We have 2 years. We got to win now. And I don't care what happens after that.
And outside of Travis Hunter last year, what other draft picks were expected to start? Like Wyatt Milam wasn't expected to start.
Yeah.
Caleb Ransall wasn't expected to start. He was expected to compete, but not be
second
immediately.
round pick though.
I would say Ransall people would have hoped you. That's why a lot of people are mad at that one.
Yeah, but I don't know that they went into the season saying, okay, he's definitely going to be a starting
No,
safety.
he was a new position, so it'd be hard.
Correct. Yeah.
If they would have drafted Xavier Watts, you would have been like, he's going to be starting,
Absolutely.
which they should
and
have.
then they should have, and then he would have. The jury's still out on Caleb Ransall. But yeah, both he and Milam taken in the 3rd round after the Jaguars traded their 2nd round pick. And then this year's first. And then, I mean, Bashal Tutin was never expected to be the guy, right? So as you look down
because you
that
had
draft,
Tank, and then that
you had
obviously
Travis,
changed.
Travis Achan and Tank Bigsby. Are we going to find out that we've been saying Bigsby wrong?
Yeah, all of a sudden he's like, it's actually not.
It's actually Bigglesby, everyone. Bigglesby.
And I will say a quick note before we hit break too, because we were talking about the tight ends and the importance of that. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing too, because when you go back and you look at Brenton Strange, is tight end 1, I think, and we've talked about it on this show. We think he has the potential to be one of the top tight ends in the league. He's complete. He can do all of it that you asked that position to do. But what you saw last year is when he wasn't playing, the Jags lost 3 of their 4 games within that time frame. 2 of the games where they went into overtime against bad teams. And so look what happened when you lost Brenton Strange last year. Are you willing to risk that happening again if injury happens? And you do have to plan. That's where you are right now on this roster. Not saying we have Brenton Strange, so we're not as worried about it. Okay, but if he's not on the field and another injury happens, that position group drastically fell off when he was out.
Trevor Lawrence needs a guy like Brenton Strange on that football field. And that was also when the Jaguars pass catchers weren't really catching the ball. And Strange obviously was always
that one that you could count on doing that.
And look, I mean, we talk about the first 4 picks, but that 5th pick in the 4th round, they could get another pick or 2 probably with the other picks that they have to move up. But let's say they just stick there. That's number 124. Then you start thinking like, okay, could I get a D tackle to get what I want in the 4th, like a Grayson Halton out of Oklahoma? You see him in the 4th round. Could a tight end fall? That we like that can get down. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be pressed. I think what's nice about this team is there's really no pressing need
gaping
to
hole.
Yeah, I agree with what Prisco said earlier. Like you can compete. I'm not saying you're a contender again because you got to replace 13 touchdowns. I'm sorry, you don't have that yet. I want to see what you have. And I'm not saying you can't do it, but you got to show that you can replace that. But it's nice to be in a position where now you can say, okay, I'm going to pick position of need with the highest guy graded, and how much he plays, we'll figure out when he gets here. Because we don't have to press on who's going to be Devin Lloyd's replacement.
Right.
Because out of the guys we have, one of them we could probably make work.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the best. Just got to make it work. You got to make those players work in the system, get the most out of them, and then we figure it out, put the chess piece together, and we'll be a really competitive defense. It's a good position to be in.
For sure. I walked away from Liam Cohen's comments about Ventrell Miller thinking Ventrell Miller might be the guy that they expect to be the starter there. And again, competition, and depending on what they get in the draft too. But whereas outside looking in may say that's a gaping hole, I don't think this regime feels now like that's a gaping hole.
It's funny. I took the comments a little opposite. I took it as he's playing nice because that's what coaches do. They're not going to say, no, we need this because we don't have it on our roster. But he did say there's work to do. So to me, that was saying like, we've seen some of Ventrell being able to do it, but he was very quick to be like, but I'm trying to think of the exact terminology used, like there's more work to do or he can get better at certain things, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So to me, that means you don't, like, I more so took that as you don't see that he's ready to fully take over that position that Devin Lloyd had.
Well, or he just hasn't done enough to work confident in saying that he can. I don't think there's a large gap for the record. I think Ventrell's a really good football player. What I think is real different is the blitzing. Like Devin was really good at beating the block or escaping through the gap. They didn't do it enough. I say that enough, but a lot. But when the back came up to block Devin Lloyd, he 90% won those battles. I'm not saying Ventrell can't. He's just built a little differently. He can really cover, he can run, and he's good against the run. So it's not a major gap, but it's just not everything that Devin Lloyd brings to the table.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Sure. The quote from Liam Cohen at the owners' meetings. Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for growth there. I think that when Ventrell was asked to play a lot of meaningful snaps last year, I think we saw some really good things. And then there's some things we can continue to coach off of. I think anytime you give a player confidence without telling them anything, like right now, if you're him and we haven't signed anybody yet, you should say, well, at least they believe in me. At least they think I can do it. And now it's on him to go and us to go get it together. And but it's like, dude, it's now time. So and then also now it's time to go truly take it over. So I feel like that's an indication that maybe he could win the starting job, but we'll see.
Or let's see what they do in the draft still. After the
yeah,
draft,
they just haven't signed a free agent at this point in time. Absolutely. All right, more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL and 82.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hi, this is Dr. George Bari, an orthopedic surgeon who is fellowship trained in sports medicine. If you are a young athlete or a weekend warrior, I treat you with the care and expertise that is needed to diagnose and treat your injury. Come see me at Bari Orthopedics to get the care that you need.
Be sure and check out the expertise from Dr. George Bari and the entire staff at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com. And follow Doc on Instagram at Dr.GeorgeBari.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Kubota keeps job sites running smoothly with the #1 selling compact excavator lineup in the world. Reliable, capable, and backed by strong dealer support. Stop by today and power up your crew. Right now, bring home select Kubota excavators with 0% financing available or save up to $7,000. Now through June 30th, see store or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer. Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
Hey, Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. Basically, they build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. When you need a fence, trust Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Welcome to indoor football. Welcome to the Jacksonville Sharks. Discover the thrill of the indoor league. Fast-paced, action-packed, and it's family fun. Be there when your Sharks take on the Orlando Pirates. Friday, April 17th at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Halftime performance by the world-famous Disconnected Canines. Ask about our family 4-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. There's no better value. Get your tickets now at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. It's Country Night presented by Roland Reese Plumbing. Dust off your boots, throw on your camo, get ready for a night full of football fun and great music. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made. Go Sharks! Fins up.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Jacksonville is the flip side of Florida. And inside the flip side, the action never stops. If you're tired of hearing about the best games after the final whistle, don't get left on the sidelines. Whether it's a unique sporting event you've never seen, a weekend with the family, or a winning date night, Visit Jacksonville is your ultimate playbook. Get in the game. Head to visitjacksonville.com/locals or download the Visit Jacks app today and see everything coming in 2026. Jacksonville. Experience the flip side.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at UNF and Bishop Snyder this summer, plus plenty of other sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Wednesday afternoon. By the way, I don't know what I've been dealing with, like some sort of cough or whatever all week. So I appreciate the listeners' patience as I've had to basically cough my way through the first 2 days of the show, but much better today. So,
Good.
Yeah.
Doing good, LB. You're doing good.
I was just so impressed. Every single time over the last 2 shows, I'd have to cough constantly, and y'all would just keep talking. I was like, I'm so impressed at how laser focused they are as I'm just over here hacking up along. I'm not sick. I think it's just allergies with the pollen and whatnot. But
if there's one thing Tommy and I can do, it's talk. So we're good.
We can fill if we have.
If I sneezed that many times, then it would have been an issue because y'all both would have been like,
if I can MC a fried Twinkie eating contest, I can do just about anything in the microphone. Let me tell you.
You got that right.
Yeah.
All right, time now for Tommy's Take.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, or dial pound law. That's all.
All right, my takes today on this beautiful Wednesday is, I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky man, and I'm very blessed to be a lucky man. I thank the good Lord for everything that is good in my life. And on my wedding anniversary today is 26 years. My wife and children are, right up there at the top. Like I said, she's my favorite person. My take is that I hope everyone can find love out there, and in a way that just makes you complete. Makes you like you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to even think about it. You don't have to just. It's off your back, like they always have your back. Listen, life is tough. I mean, I've been through tough times. We all have. I'm not immune to that at all. But when you have a partner that just never wavers, never, stops believing in you, never has your back, I tell you, it's an incredible feeling. And my takeaway or my take is that I wish that for everybody out there because it's a wonderful feeling and you can live life to the fullest and everybody deserves to be happy. So if you're not happy, find a way to get happy because let's go through this life happy because that's the way to be. All right, that's brought to you by our good friends at Morgan & Morgan. They're the largest for the reason because they win, win, win. Pound law, that's all, or forthepeople.com.
Somebody on the text line had an idea for an anniversary present for you, but they just said, just replay what you said on the radio about your wife and your relationship at the top. You sound honest and happy.
Yes, I am. I am. I'm very, very happy. You should. I hope everyone's happy. It's hard, man. Life can be really hard.
Yeah, there's a lot going on out there.
There's a lot going on. And like I said, I say this to everybody, like no matter what anybody looks like, you never know what's going on in their life. You never know. They could look like they got it all together and they got some kind of issue with a family member or a health issue or they're somebody's friend, whatever. You just never know what's going on in their life. So take some solace in the fact that you're not alone when you're feeling down and you're feeling like things aren't going your way. But you could find happiness. We talk about it. The good Lord, exercising will help you. Getting out, moving around, feeling that sunshine, that'll help you a lot as well. And
Live music.
Yeah, music, absolutely. Just enjoying it all.
Live sporting events after our
sometimes that's how I leave happy.
Well, going to the spring game, it was easy because there was no clear winner or loser. And
Go to a high school sporting event. That'll make you happy.
Yeah. We talked about, so this upcoming week, UNF plays host to FSU in baseball Tuesday at UNF. And so I was like, we might need to go to that game. Obviously root for the Ospreys, Brian's alma mater. And then we already booked baseball tickets to go back to Gainesville for Florida, Texas A&M.
Fun.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. And those are, it's an hour and a half-ish, 2 hours, what have you. But to get outside, like you said, in the sunshine, we got berm tickets. So that way we can just spread out the blankets.
Nice.
And enjoy the baseball. And those types of ththings I think are really important to just get away sometimes from the grind that is everyday life. Shut the laptop, turn off the phone, or use your phone to take pictures. But
listen, Sunday, what did we do? We were on the beach for 4 hours. It didn't cost us anything.
Right.
Cost the mule me, effort to get all the stuff to the sand, but that's okay. I didn't mind.
Do you walk from your house?
No, we drive to my in-laws and then we walk from there, which is a couple blocks.
That's right, because they're east of.
They're east of A1A.
I was wondering because our house is only 10 blocks from the beach, so like we're super lucky too.
Yeah.
But that 10 blocks, depending on what you're carrying, can
be long.
feel like a
Yeah,
long
no doubt.
time.
Get the
Especially
wagon
sitting,
out.
especially sitting at once usually it's a little easier getting out there. It's after when you've been sitting and drinking and it's hot, and then you have to pack everything up and pull
Gotta
it
take a
back through
leak.
the sand, and then you're like, oh gosh.
By the way, I did get in the ocean. I wasn't sure because most of the surfers,
cold.
including Brian, still had wetsuits, but some of them had just tops, and then some of them went without wetsuits. So I was like, if they could do it, I'm just gonna see what it feels like. After the initial shock, it kind of felt really
Felt
good.
great. Yeah, I agree. I was in there a little bit, but the initial was like,
I was like, how? I can't do this. And I was like, wait, hold on. Yes, I can.
yeah, Christina, she's like, I'm not doing that. Walked right back to her chair. It's got to be like bath water.
Yeah, you just have to, I get some people are like that. You just have to, stay in it for a minute or so and
you
get
get used to it.
acclimated to it.
For sure.
And then it's not
And
bad.
then sometimes it's cold when you get out because you're used to that temperature.
Yeah, but it wasn't super windy on Sunday.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which is why
Sunday
there
was perfect.
Yeah, that's why
Great.
there were a lot of surfers out there. All right, back to football we go. On the other side, you are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Tom Jackson.
This is Shannon Sharp. I'm Mike McCarthy. You're listening to 1010XL.
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 92.5 FM.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings and creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Only at Firehouse Subs.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
This is Hayes Carlion for First Florida Credit Union. I went to the branch on 210 to get my car loan and had a fantastic experience. I got a great rate and was in and out. The online banking services are also outstanding. Depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards for 3 years running, and it's easy to see why. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Fight night is here. Join Dan and I at UNF Arena for Guns N' Hoses Saturday, April 18th. You want to be a part of the pugilistic festivities? Go to GNHJacks.com and get your tickets now. It's Guns N' Hoses Saturday, April 18th.
Double the action, double the fun. Join Sporting Jacks Saturday, April 25th at UNF's Hodges Stadium for an exciting pro soccer doubleheader. The women's team gets things going at 2 against Lexington, featuring an appearance from competitive eating legend Joey Chestnut. Have a blast after in the fun zone before the men pick things back up at 7:30 against Miami. Secure your seats at sportingjacks.com or call 863-KICK. That's 863-KICK. Pro Soccer, Pro Jacks.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Have you been thinking about selling your home and you haven't pulled the trigger? Let me tell you about Chad and Sandy and the experts that will help you make that decision. Mortgage rates have dropped. They're expected to move lower. Home sales momentum is building, so now's the time to get your home ready to maximize your sales price. It's time to call Chad and Sandy, the proven experts to sell your home. Need to sell now, need to sell fast, need max price. Check, check, check. Chad and Sandy have the science behind it. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Jonathan writes from Mount Pleasant. The only thing standing between me and my dream of hitting the road in my RV was selling my Mount Pleasant home. After hearing Chad and Sandy on the radio, I gave them a call. The results were unreal. In just 3 days, I had multiple offers at full asking price. So can you. Call the local experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200 or ChadAndSandy.com.
What's happening, folks? E.T. here, and it's that time of year again for the Taste of Golf at TPC Sawgrass happening April 22nd. Join me for fine cuisine from chefs from the top golf clubs in our area, craft cocktails, games, and exclusive auction items. This is one of the most impactful charitable events in our area. Come network with a sophisticated audience who is passionate about golf and its values. All proceeds benefit the kids of First Tee North Florida. For tickets, go to tasteofgolf.com.
1010XL's draft previews are built by Purple Heart Pools, your veteran pool company.
Former ESPN All-American offensive lineman Chris Pasantis of Texas A&M held a near-perfect protection efficiency last season. Cincinnati linebacker Jake Golday averaged 12 tackles a game last season in the Big 12. And San Diego State's Chris Johnson was one of the top cornerbacks in the draft with 148 tackles and 6 interceptions for 2 touchdowns, potentially giving Jacksonville a highly coveted lockdown corner.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
I wish country music still got played on country radio. And I wish even cars had trumpets and every road was named Copperhead.
I don't know how RJ Saunders came up with playing one of my favorite all-time Riley Green songs, but he did.
Like, sure,
So,
we'll take it.
yeah, I'm here for it.
You should think about that lip syncing show. You're really good at that, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you get into it. I could do the guitar. I can do the air guitar, man, all day long. But, yeah, you should do that. That's the show, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I was watching The Voice last night. You guys watch that at all?
I do sometimes.
Yeah, it's good to hear that talent, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, it's I used to love The Voice. I watched it a lot more when it was newer.
And Adam Levine and Blake Shelton going back and forth were always so funny.
It was fun. And I don't know why, not for any reason that I stopped watching. I just don't watch as much now, but I will see clips sometimes. And it's still, I had a friend recently from here, Cassidy, she was on the show. So I've actually had a few friends that were on The Voice. My friend Dustin Monk was on The Voice too. But it is cool because it's just you. And sometimes I'll be like, I'd push the button way faster than what they push the button. They're taking their time. And I'm like, no, this is so good. And then sometimes they hit it right away. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't love that. But so it's interesting to see different people's types of what they think immediately sounds good.
We were down at St. Aug and ran into Christina and I, one of the contestants way back. He might have been American Idol. He got to like the 5th round or whatever, but he was known. You kind of recognized him. And he did this song that sounded like a trumpet, but he didn't have an instrument. He did it all just through his mouth. It was unbelievable. It was right outside Meehan's, the Irish pub down there. Yeah, it was really incredible. That's anyway.
That's a
fun
gift.
To watch that
It is,
no doubt.
To sound like a
We need some gifts on this team, this Jaguar team. Some draft gifts.
Yes,
right?
Gifts, not gifts. Yeah, that's where my brain in 2026 goes. By the way, that song is called "I Wish Grandpa's Never Died." And the first time I saw Riley Green in 2020, when it was Riley Green, Morgan Wallen, and Jason Aldean, Riley Green played that song, and it was not long after my grandfather had passed away. And so I'm just standing there crying as he's playing this song. Like, yes, it's a very sentimental song, but for me personally, in that moment, I was like, I'm that girl at a concert who's crying, like not hysterically, but crying a lot. All right, time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
We've talked about the Florida spring game, the three of us, and then we also talked to Zach Goodall yesterday. One name that has not been brought up, and I meant to mention it on Monday, but the farther we get from the spring game, the more and more I think about this particular player. His name is Bailey Stockton. He's a wide receiver that transferred from Georgia Tech. So he, along with Buster Faulkner and Aaron Philo and other guys from Georgia Tech, Eric Singleton by way of Auburn, also from Georgia Tech originally. He's a guy that he's not going to be the Micah Mays or Vernell Brown III or Dallas Wilson. He's not going to be the guy that looks like that stud receiver. But I think he might really contribute to this football team. And he's not related. I know the question is he related to Gunnar Stockton? Immediately at the spring game, I searched for that and I saw that on Twitter he was his cousin. But then when I really did research, no, they're not related, unfortunately, for the Gators. If they were to, have maybe those ties to a Georgia quarterback and get some intel before that game in Atlanta this year. But no, he's just a guy that last year he had over 1,200 yards and 23 touchdowns.
Wow.
So, or
That's
maybe
a
not last year,
weapon.
but in 2021 as a junior. And so if Philo is the starting quarterback, I feel like Bailey Stockton's a guy to certainly keep an eye on. I'm sure Tramel Jones Jr., but because at least they've had practices with one another.
Yeah, good pull, to bring your teammate with you that you got some, even through practice, even just experience with, so that should help out. you said their wideouts, their skill positions looked really good at this
Really
spring
good.
game.
And he's the guy, that's why he's going to fly under the radar. By the way, it's over 1,200 yards and 23 touchdowns. I read as a junior. I was just assuming that was college football. That was in high school.
Yeah, I was like 2021 was
I know.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
But you never know now with I was like trying to do math in my head. But
yeah, he's been in college for 5 years, but it's just a junior.
He's had 3 years at Georgia Tech, so this is his 4th year just by looking. But is he more, because it's 12.1 reception in 2024 and 11.1 yards of reception in 2025, just 233 yards. But
that sounds more right.
Yeah.
I was like, how do we not know that he had 23
I feel like we should
touchdowns
be
last
talking
year? That's more
about
than
this.
Brian Thomas Jr. had at LSU.
You saw him at the spring game. Is he also another deep threat, do you think? Or what type of wide receiver are you seeing?
I think he's a guy that can play all over
everywhere.
the place.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he's white, I'm sure people are going to immediately think he's a slot receiver.
That's what I literally Googled and it popped up. I was like, oh, white guy, he must be a slot receiver.
Correct. And I feel like that's everyone's natural inclination. But I do think he has some deep threat ability. And we saw him, I would say he probably caught not the total yards. He wasn't the total receptions leader or total yards leader, or maybe he was total receptions leader.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't paying as close attention to the stats because it's a spring game, but it feels like every time we looked up, it was like, oh, there's Bailey Stockton again.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any drops from him. And so just wanted to throw him out there as a guy to keep on the radar because, we're going to talk all about those other skill guys and of course, Jaden Baugh leading the charge.
Are we worried about the defensive secondary? Because they gave up some big plays in the.
I'm not yet because, it's a spring
you think
game.
they just let them go down the field? I mean,
not necessarily, but I
mean, was it more of a show for the fans? Like, let's show them we can complete.
See, that's
deep
what's
passes?
interesting. The beginning of it was not slow, but was dink and dunk. And so then it felt like, the offensive coaches were finally like, all right, I want to show something.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they told Brad White, the defensive coordinator, completely let him have it. I just think that the defense was maybe cut a little bit off guard because they were just a lot of short to intermediate passes, and then all of a sudden
some deep throws,
which is how it happens in a game. So but there's a lot of newness in the secondary for sure.
Yeah, and on those throws, I mean, are any defenders close to where they maybe could have hit the QB?
Yes.
Sometimes we get carried away with, wow, look at that throw, but you go back, you're like, oh, he would have been killed.
Yeah, and they
He wouldn't
did
even
blow
got
the
the ball.
whistle a couple of times for what would have been sacks. Obviously, they weren't going to allow those guys to hit the quarterback. But the defensive backs, they were the ones that were very close to the receivers, but the receivers just made some really nice plays, especially this one on the sidelines that Micah Mays had. I was like, I mean, like I said, everyone in our section was like, oh. And I think that's what everyone was like, oh, he's the transfer. Okay, I get it now.
I still can't believe the weight room story. That just seems strange. Like, how do you not lift weights as a football? I mean, I'm sure they were, but they weren't lifted for power, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like Zach Goodall
very
was telling us, they cared more about speed. But, too, you think about it. There were a lot of injuries to a lot of Gators players, too. And so that's what tells me that their strength and conditioning program
was not where it needed to be.
Yeah, wasn't set up for them to then go play a violent sport that is football.
Yeah. Well, I don't, sometimes with that, because if you overtrain them, they can get hurt.
For sure.
If you undertrain them, then they can get hurt. So you really got to find that special little sauce or balance to make sure that, A, they're getting enough strength training and stretching and conditioning and speed, but staying healthy.
That's why they should do your workout that you created.
Yes.
Hey, the Jags know what they're doing because they won the award, right? They won the staff award. So the athletic trainer, whatever it was called, and the strength and conditioning award.
Which John Summerall had Liam Cohen come to Gainesville.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was part of the conversation, is John being like, what does your strength and conditioning staff look like this time of year? I need to get mine up to par.
So I'm assuming Summerall can get 225 for 12 because he said my staff better at least get 12. Right. I wonder if Liam can get 12.
I would think so.
He looks like he been lifting.
He looks like he was maybe eating some of the fried Twinkies in Tampa and has switched to lettuce wraps here in Jacksonville.
Lettuce wraps.
All right, more to do on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Wherever you go, we go.
Those are the rules. I didn't make them up.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices to listen anywhere in the world.
It may be the key to the whole plan. Get it? Got it. Good.
Hey,
Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
My knees took a beating during my 11 years playing quarterback here in Jacksonville, and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists continue to stay on top of my progress. This is David Garrard, and I'm highly recommending Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
You don't have to be a professional athlete to enjoy the personalized attention you'll receive at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Let them take a look at your issue and put you on the road to a swift recovery.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
When someone excels in and out of the classroom, we should celebrate it.
That's why 1010XL brings you the Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show, tuned up by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Some auto shops love giving your wallet a flush every time you visit. Not AA Automotive. They fix only what needs fixing, nothing more. Honest, fast, and fair. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street. Boring name, awesome service, and no wallet flush.
home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit DFHSalesEvent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Best Bet is #1. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Roland, 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 we're all calling Roland, the toilet's overflowing, oh my.
When you've got a leak and can't wait a week, call Roland Reese Plumbing, 260-7059.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Local sports update brought to you by Riddle Wellness. Tonight, the Orlando Magic will take on the Philadelphia 76ers in the NBA play-in tournament as the winner receives the 7th seed to take on the Boston Celtics in round 1. This week's stop on the PGA Tour, the RBC Heritage in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, tees off tomorrow as Justin Thomas defends his title. It's 85 degrees at 3:01. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
All right, Tom worked hard yesterday on creating a workout that we'll be posting at some point in the near future. But Taylor also has been hard at work, and that is coming up with some tendencies when it comes to the NFL draft.
Look, I'm trying to figure out who the Jaguars are going to draft. So I'm trying to go through all the trends and figure out what's going on.
The 55 players ahead of the Jaguars.
Yeah, there's a long path to the Jags pick this year. But more so, I think that we hear every year that, the draft is not a science. And we've seen that because we've seen the trade ups and trade backs, and we've seen people taking a running back too high, I'm air quoting that, or a tight end too high, and then it ended up working out. And then you see some of the top draft picks that you feel like are slam dunks not work out. And sometimes that's injury, sometimes that's scheme fit, sometimes it's going to wrong teams, whatever the case may be. So there really is so much when it comes to the draft that you're just kind of guessing, projecting. There's a lot of things that go into that. But
if it wasn't exact science, we would have the same teams win
winning
every year.
Yeah. Or like the interesting thing to me is I think you would almost, I want to say it'd be almost opposite, because the bad teams, if it's that guaranteed that your first pick is going to be a slam dunk, if that year you draft, then you feel like, okay, this team's drafting a quarterback, so their quarterback's going to be one of the top quarterbacks this next year, and so they'll be good. And it doesn't work that way. Like that what we've actually seen is the same teams picking in the top 5 quite a bit. We went over some of those recently when it comes about, obviously the Jags and Bears are both in that, but the Jets, the Giants, the Raiders, those are all teams that the Browns, Cardinals, Panthers are all teams that we see pick in the top 10 a lot. And why? Because the draft isn't a science. And just because you're picking in the top 10 all of those years doesn't mean you're always getting players that immediately are going to impact your team in the way that sometimes you're seeing. I mean, there's a million examples of the later guys, and even Patrick Mahomes a little bit more mid-round. You talked about Aaron Rodgers was later, and Tom Brady was later. Russell Wilson was a little later. Like, there's a lot of examples of that. But when you go through, I read an article, and it was actually a whole thread on TikTok, and he had an article linked to it of when you're analyzing the drafts and the interviews. So this is one thing, and everybody's grasping at straws right now to try and figure out different teams' trends and the trends of the draft in general. So he goes through this whole, he went through the last 10 years of drafts and looked at the interviews that the teams had, whether it's like the 30 visits. Obviously, the Jaguars don't do the official 30 visits. Theirs are more just the interviews, but they'll have confirmed interviews through the combine, through pro days, through virtual, whatever the case may be.
I feel like, by the way, every team should do virtual for their meetings. Like past a certain point, it should all be virtual.
Yeah, it's too easy now to do that, to just hop on the Zoom real quick. And I know some people like that personal like they like to have that eye contact sitting there and see how they react.
With body language too. I mean, you can fake it on a Zoom. I mean, think about it. People they look nice up top and they're wearing their pajamas on the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
They're naked at the bottom.
Yeah, or whatever they're wearing.
I just mean I understand in
for
order
time.
but also for keeping an arm's length between the team and the prospects, like not bringing them in for those top 30 visits is helpful in as far as keeping other teams guessing.
Yeah. If you're trying to smoke screen a little bit and do things like that.
You can do hundreds of virtual ones.
Yeah. So when it comes to the links, the interviews, those top 30 visits, they have different indications though. And so what this research that this specific person went through and they pointed out was it doesn't technically what the 30 visits, those interviews haven't directly linked to the player that the team is drafting, but it's linked to the position group. So if a specific team goes through and they interview 4 running backs, one of the examples was the running back. So over the last decade, for example, if a team used 3 or more top 30 visits or interviews or did interviews with 3 or more running backs, they've selected a running back in the first 4 rounds 80.6% of the time. So that's one of the position groups, the running back. Okay. Wide receiver visits of 3 or more. The team has selected a wide receiver. If they've done 3 or more wide receiver visits, the team has selected a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds over 60% of the time. So there's a lot of links in that. So it doesn't technically mean we look at these interview lists or the 30-day list, a lot of a 30-visit list, 30-day, that's what we use for our sales team.
Top 30 visits.
That's right.
You have 30 days to pick your player.
You use those. and we look at them and we're like, oh, here's all the players they've talked to, so they're going to draft one of those guys. What this specific person linked was it hasn't directly linked to that. It's more so linked to that's the position group they want to draft in the draft. So I wanted to go through and just look at the Jaguars, and it's harder now because you do have a different regime last year and this year compared to previous years. So trends and stuff obviously shift when it comes to different general managers.
Yeah, like the Eagles, it's going to be a fairly on point.
Yeah, because
trend.
it's been Howie picking, and that's kind of Snead. You've talked about I'm sure their trends are a little bit more in. But so last year, some of the names, when you go through and you look at the interviews that they had last year, the officially confirmed, and obviously not even all those are ever announced, because if you're not doing the official 30 visits, then a lot of times it's just the player doing an interview and they're like, I talked to the Bears, the Giants, the Jags, and the Bills, whatever. And so that gets confirmed onto a lot of lists. So last year, some of the names, there was a lot of wide receivers. So when you go through, there were 6 wide receivers that were talked to. There was 8 safeties. There were 9 cornerbacks. There was 5 linebackers, 4 defensive tackles. And then what was the other one? Yeah. So those were like the highest when it comes to the people that they were talking about. Now, the interesting one is we left without a defensive tackle, and that was in the top position group that they did talk to. But when you talk about a wide receiver, Travis Hunter, you traded up for a player. Yes, that is both. But wide receiver and corner were the 2 highest. That was the most amount of players that they talked to when it comes to the position groups. And so it was just interesting to me because I was like, it does kind of link. Running back was the next highest, and they did go take 2 running backs in this draft. And so the lowest was a center. The offensive tackles, they only talked to 1 center, and they only talked to 1 tackle last year and 1 guard. So that is interesting. But then in my mind, I was like, they also brought a lot of free agents in last year when it came to the offensive line position. So maybe for them, they were
and McCary and Fred Johnson and Chuma.
But they drafted
2 Monheim and Milam, obviously. And so that's what's interesting, though. So it's like, but maybe it was more so, okay, we like these guys, but we're not going to push that position group specifically. And this is just a lot of guessing, obviously, at this point when it comes to this. So some of the names last year, when you talk about wide receivers they talked to, was a Rock Taylor, a Tet McMillan, Isaiah Bond, Monterey Baldwin. Those were some of the names there. The safeties, Donovan McMillan, Nick Imanwari, which we've talked a ton about, Andrew Makuba. Those were some of the names safety-wise that they've talked to.
You wanted him, too.
Makuba, I wanted so bad. And so a lot of the names, none of the ones on the officially announced, other than Travis Hunter, they ended up drafting. But the position groups did trend towards where they ended up drafting outside of the defensive tackle room.
Yeah.
And we know that they liked Tet McMillan. If they were picking at 5, it could have been an option outside of if Ashton Genty, wasn't their pick.
And that's what's interesting, too. So we go into now looking back that we know they traded up for Travis Hunter. And so obviously that was kind of an unknown because they were waiting to see if the Browns would even trade them for that pick. They were also trying to wait and see like how much that was going to cost. There was a lot of things that were factoring in. I even remember hearing like the board kind of had to fall like number 1, which we kind of projected was going to be Cam Ward. But they were like, what if Tennessee doesn't? What if Tennessee does go Travis Hunter? Because they were like, this is a guy that can do both things. There was a little bit of chatter with that.
By the way, I just saw that there was a report that the Browns were interested in taking Travis Hunter too if the Jags didn't take him. I thought that was obvious all along. I thought the draft was always going to go Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2 to the Browns.
I was laughing actually because a clip popped up on my memories that we had on our show and we were talking about it before, and I was laughing so hard because this whole conversation was like, I know what picks 1 through 2 are going to look like, and we were just laughing so hard. I was like, well, I'm glad we got the top 2 of the draft figured out, and then we didn't even have. I mean, technically Travis Hunter was picked second, but it was to the Jaguars, not the Browns. But yeah, so that was last year's. And on the other side, I want to get to this year's and see some of these trends of what it looks like. And if you guys agree of like the path that it's heading down now. But I just think that it is fascinating because it seems like overall, when you start to talk, they're bringing all of these players in. And so it's obviously you're very interested in a running back, clearly, because you interviewed 4 of them. So you really felt like you needed to upgrade that running back position. I don't know if we were totally there last year in the sense of we were like, oh, you have ETN and Tank. And so how high were you expecting to draft a running back last year? And you waited a little bit, but how much are they thinking like this far ahead of, okay, here's what we can possibly do if we draft whatever position, a defensive tackle this year. If we go interior defensive line, how much in their mind, Tommy, are they already thinking? Then what do we start having conversations about an Eric Armstead trade after if we get the DT that we need that we think can start right away.
You know, I thought that early in the off season, but I don't think you got to move him.
Yeah.
I mean, if he fits, look, you're paying him too much, but whatever. That you didn't sign that deal, you inherited that deal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to restructure it, so you want to see what he does this year. And look, he's at an age where you just say goodbye.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, Eric, even if he has a great year, maybe extend him, or you might just say, hey, thanks for everything, and we wish you the best. Maybe you go, back to San Fran for a year or two. I don't know, kind of like Calais Campbell, that continues to play. But I think if they go DT, and I think they will, it's not just for this year. You know what I mean? Look, Mason Smith isn't their guy either.
Yeah.
They didn't draft him. They inherited him. That doesn't mean they don't like him, but it's not their guy. So they find a guy that they like, that they pick. That guy is here for the now and, of course, to build for the future. But to get rid of Eric, I don't know if I see it. Yeah. Maybe if you jump into that bottom of the first round, maybe not even include him in a draft, because I don't think teams will want his salary.
Yeah,
I don't think they will, unless they feel like, hey, we're one player away from really being this elite defense type. But I don't know if his production has shown that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel like regardless of what they do, unless it's like if they got the Caden McDonald, let's just say, or jumped up to get a guy like that, then maybe you're like, all right, Eric, we're gonna June 1 you and save all that money, and we'll keep it for who knows. Maybe we got to still make an upgrade somewhere, or like we did with Jacoby Myers. We signed him and then gave him a contract. Who knows?
Yeah,
you never know when you need that money. But I think it's a great position for them to be in, because again, like even with DT, do I want a DT? Yes. Do I want a defensive tackle that's going to cause? All that stuff. But am I going to press it? Am I going to overpick for it? No, I'm not, because there's a lot of defensive tackles. I think even up through the fourth round, third and fourth round, that you could say, okay, this guy could be a fit for us.
Yeah, you have 3 picks in the third round, and I feel like they would feel comfortable there. I was just throwing out hypothetical if it looked like it, but
you listen. It's hard to pick like who they interview and are they going to pick that player.
Yeah.
But when they bring in multiple of that position, you got to be thinking, okay. I mean, to answer your question with the running backs, they brought in 4. But it was a 4th and 7th round pick. So they kind of like
waited a little bit.
Well, and nobody's thinking 4 to 7. Not a lot. They're thinking 1 through 4 or 1 through 3. What are they going to do 1 through 3? Well, they're thinking, well, hey, there's a lot of really good football players from 5 through 7. And by the way, we're a team that encourages free agents to make our team.
And they didn't have a second round pick.
I was about to say they lost their second round pick.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Look, I think good teams at this point don't create holes on the roster. And so for me, all the talk about Brian Thomas Jr. trading him away, well, that creates a hole on your roster. All the talk about not having Eric Armstead on this team, if they don't love Mason Smith, that's creating a hole on your roster.
If you hypothetical,
if
unless
you
you're
get
the
into
Chiefs
the top
and you're getting
10,
rid of Tyreek Hill and Trent McDuffie, and like they do get rid of their players.
Yeah, well, they win though too.
That's what I'm saying. They're
more.
good teams.
Yeah. What if you could get into the top 10 by trading Brian Thomas? Would you do it?
I would not, because then I need a wide receiver, and then I have to draft a wide receiver that I project is going to be better than BTJ.
Yep.
But I'm also in the camp that
then you get a fresh slate also of a contract to not have to talk about that next year.
Yeah, I'm in the camp that what we saw his rookie season is more of what he is, not what we saw for the first half of last season. But obviously, time will tell.
Yeah, I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just curious.
Sure, yeah, it's always a conversation.
That is intriguing.
And they're bold, so they're going to have bold conversations for sure. All right, more to do on the other side. More draft talk. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
It's like a secret guy language.
1010XL.
A secret guy language.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
Yo, ET here. And you know that on the field, preparation wins championships, right? Well, the same goes for your health. Right here in my side of town in Fleming Island, Encore Research Group is helping locals take charge through cutting-edge research studies. Everything from weight loss to diabetes and hypertension. Their team of local, multi-specialty doctors is focused on advancing medicine and keeping our community healthy. If you want to see if you qualify, check them out at encoredocs.com.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. I was scrolling through my phone the other day, and there it was, my Awaken 180 app. So I popped it open and started looking back at what I pulled off 2 years ago. 40 pounds gone in just 12 weeks. But the number that really jumped out at me wasn't the weight. It wasn't even the 6% body fat I lost. It was the fact that those numbers dropped and my muscle mass didn't. That tells you everything. I wasn't just eating less with Awaken 180. I was eating to lose weight. The right proteins, the right foods, the right plan for me. So my body burned fat instead of muscle. And trust me, that matters. Because when people say they want to lose weight, what they really mean is they want to lose fat. But if you're not fueling your body the right way, guess what your body can start burning? Ding, ding, ding. Muscle. Exactly the opposite of what you want. Awaken 180 tackles the fat. The coaches tackle the plan. Tackle it and keep it off at awaken180weightloss.com.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
It's time to take your season to the next level when the Jaguars return to the bank in 2026. Become a season ticket member and unlock exclusive access to ticketed events, members-only experiences, NFL membership club perks, and more. Availability is limited due to in-bowl renovations, so don't wait. Call 904-633-2000 or visit jaguars.com/season tickets to secure your spot at the center of the action. We'll see you at the bank this fall.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
My gut tells me on Friday, next Friday, at some point in time, we will find out.
Does it?
Yes.
Fully?
I don't think they're going to trade into the first round. I just
Maybe
think they're
higher
too
into the
far.
second.
Maybe higher into the
Possibly.
second, but I don't think they're going to trade into the first round just based off of picking at 56. I could be wrong, though. They traded up last year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what makes it fun, the draft fun. It's unpredictable. And
You
they've
have to
done
stay up late, by the way.
They do a great job. I was actually thinking of this. He won't give me the answer. I was thinking of like text him, Baselli, and be like, listen, are you going to trade into the first round and I'll stay up for it, or can I go to bed and see everything in the morning?
Yeah, he'll definitely not tell you.
I doubt he'll tell me that, but yeah, I mean, listen, it's it's not totally out of the question, I don't think. I think 90.
Oh, it's not out of the question. Just my gut
No, I
tells me
know,
it's
I
not
know.
happening.
My gut's like feel like there's 10% of me that thinks they're cooking something up.
something crazy.
Not that they're gonna pull the trigger, like, because it's got to all come together. You know what I mean? Like even with the Travis Hunter thing, like that. Even though you wanted that initially, like that took a lot of work to get that deal
The Browns
under
had
the
to be-
radar.
yeah.
The Browns had to be in on it. Like
willing.
you got to have that
Two to
People
tango.
think you just call it up and do
The
it.
Browns
It's
have
not,
to Brown.
It's not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Browns got a
Although they're thrilled, right?
They are.
Like,
They're
they think they
happy.
fleeced us.
So-
That's fine.
They sound happy at the moment.
I could maybe get into that lower third of the draft. You know?
Okay. I just know it's going to cost a lot.
I don't
but,
think
yeah.
they'll I don't think they'll add a player. I don't think they're trading any of our players. Like, I know there's a lot of speculation on. Like, we were talking on during a break. You saw something on the internet. Chiefs at number 9, Brian Thomas for number 9. That you'd add something to that. I would imagine. Would you do that trade? You say no. You wouldn't do that trade.
I would not. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they would.
I mean, their comments on Brian Thomas Jr., and I'm just going off of what they say publicly because in the past they've been very transparent. And so I'm going to believe that they're still transparent, is that they want not just the offense to run through Brian Thomas Jr., but they want him on their team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, it doesn't make that they're not being truthful. This is the game you got to play, right? But I mean, look, after I heard what James Gladstone said about Devin Lloyd, I mean, he basically gushed over his play last year. We would have never had the 13 wins without him. He would have never been, our defense would have been never, and then you let him go. So I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously it comes down to value and what they felt was value
the cost.
and that, but no, I don't.
Well, and then also like the recent Dexter Lawrence comments of like, we're not even addressing that right now. But then there were rumors that they did talk to the Giants about it. So you say what you say sometimes to just get past that conversation. And that's just part of what I mean, that's part of the job. The part of their job isn't to tell us every single thing they're thinking and feeling, because also you don't want other teams to feel that.
Right.
I feel like if you automatically were like, we're totally open to trading him because, you know, we have Jacoby and we have this, then all of a sudden that value shrinks too. And other teams are like, oh, you're not even valuing your own player. So why would we give you a first round pick for him?
Yeah. Again, they brewed something up that was very bold. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again. And look, it's part of that element of surprise. Like, you know, the whole for now, they probably were in a pre-meeting like, hey, let's throw that out there and really get everyone's head spinning. Let's just say, well, for now, we're going to, we're at 56.
But then they also laughed at the idea that picking 56 is late.
Too long. Yeah.
Well, because of what they did with the Rams.
Correct,
yeah,
right. So, it's some of it's tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I'm a huge believer in Brian Thomas Jr. So how I feel about him being moved would be completely different than maybe how they feel or how other fans feel.
I don't want to see him go either. I don't. Yeah. I would not let him. I wouldn't want him to go. I'm just saying, like, the potential is definitely. I mean, look, if someone's calling, they're listening.
Yeah.
They're listening. Yeah. They'd be crazy not to listen.
I think you'd be crazy to trade him to a team that potentially stands in your way of winning the AFC.
Winning all of it,
and so the Bills, the Chiefs.
Based on last year, I would not. I wouldn't be worried at all. Based on 2 years ago, yeah, I would be worried. But which Brian Thomas are you going to get?
And pairing him with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, to me, is a terrifying thing when you're talking about playing defense against that. But again, that's someone who's higher on him than just based off of half of last year.
Yeah. And I think you're more, as a general manager, you're more concerned about making your roster better than you care about potentially helping. I don't think you're thinking about that as much as you are just being like, what is best for my organization and building my team and putting the best players on that field. But I know, like, for the Giants today, they were talking about, they had a presser, I guess it was today or recently, where he made comments about how they were talking about this Dexter Lawrence stuff. And he very openly was like, he's a very good player and we want him on the team, but it would be silly not to answer phone calls when people are calling. That is one of the best honest answers I've heard from any general manager, because that's the truth of it. That doesn't mean you want Dexter Lawrence gone. And that's what I was trying to say through the whole Brian Thomas Jr. thing when people were taking it the wrong way. Like, nobody was saying the Jaguars wanted to trade away Brian Thomas Jr. What they were saying was the interest was being shown. And why would you not answer phone calls and see what people were potentially offering you for a player like that?
Well, look, we're not going to get into it today, but who's untradeable out there? Like, that's what, like, money is that almost everybody's trade. Almost everybody. I would imagine quarterbacks are not. But look, would Seattle, if you went to Seattle and said, hey, we want JSN for whatever, would you trade him?
They would say no.
They would say no.
I would guess. Yeah.
And contracts also play into that too, as far as trading.
Well, they would take over the contract. The new team.
But
I'm just saying they wouldn't trade.
Seattle showed to you how much they value him by paying him.
Yeah.
The Chiefs
so
showed
he would
you
be
how much
untradeable to that
they
team.
valued Patrick Mahomes when they gave him a $500 million deal for 10 years.
They have not done that with Brian Thomas.
No, because he's not even
he is
there
tradable.
yet.
I don't think he's
contract
untradeable.
wise. Oh yeah, no, he's definitely not untradeable.
Right.
But
even for this team, I mean, like today.
Right, but what if the Jaguars have a Jamar Chase light in Brian Thomas Jr.?
A what?
A Jamar Chase light. Like if they have a guy that's a stud receiver, a true number one receiver, the Bengals are not trading away Jamar Chase. The Vikings are not trading away Justin Jefferson. Like the key pieces to their offenses. But then again, we saw Micah Parsons traded, and I would have sat here a year ago and told you Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt are all in the untradeable category, and we saw that happen.
Yeah, and that's how the regime values them, because Jamar Chase hasn't had a season under 1,000 yards in his first 2 seasons. He had 22 touchdowns in 2 seasons and 2,500 yards. So that's, I mean, yes, you right away you knew what Jamar. You didn't have this back and forth of Brian Thomas Jr. only played good with Mac Jones, pretty much. Like that's kind of the conversation going here. And again, I'm with you guys in the sense of I don't want to trade Brian Thomas Jr. Either. I think that I think that late in last year you really started to see what he could be. I do think you need way less drops. I don't want my wide receiver number 1 dropping 10 passes throughout the season. And so that's something that has to get better. Some of the things that you needed to see, I think started to settle down, but I do think it's different. Justin Jefferson and Jamar, years 1 and 2, there was not a drop off. There wasn't any inconsistency.
And they got paid rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, they're massive investment in both those guys. And those guys wouldn't be. I wouldn't think Minnesota would ever want to trade
Which is interesting because Minnesota still hasn't settled on a quarterback.
Yeah, they don't have anybody throwing the ball.
Well, would they trade Jefferson for one of those quarterbacks?
I think that's a valid question.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I wouldn't, because he's going to make every quarterback that comes there better, but you're also not going to win a Super Bowl without the right quarterback. However, the Vikings just had Sam Darnold and
they let him go.
Let him go.
He
so yeah, that's a whole other conversation. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's why I'm so excited for next Friday and Saturday. Is
we get some answers.
We get some answers to the questions that we've been pondering now since the season ended. For sure.
Hypothetical. Let me throw it out.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody yell at us.
Brian Thomas. It's hypothetical. Take it easy out there. Brian Thomas plus whatever, maybe a second rounder or your second rounder, right? The 56, up to number 9, right? Now, so now you at number 9. You trade back because somebody's going to want that number 9 pick. Somebody's going to want whoever's sitting there, and you don't have to. Like I saw Jordan Tyson. I know Mel Kiper's really pumping him up at ASU, but he's had injury problems, so that kind of concerns me. I know he's dynamic when healthy, but I don't know if I'd take that risk and try to replace Brian Thomas. I would be in no hurry to replace. Just because I get up to number 9 doesn't mean I'm going wide receiver. I might go somewhere else. But what a great power play if they could do that, because there will be teams at that 12, 13 that would love to come up. And what are you going to give me to get up to number 9 and maybe fall back? Who knows? I'm just saying, like, you could be in a really good position. Now
we still need a wide receiver.
Chiefs are 9 and 29. Yeah, but you got time. You don't have to get them in the first 9 picks. You know what I mean? You got time to find that wide receiver. But would they give up 9 for that? I mean, that's the only way you'd, like, if Brian Thomas is involved, it's got to be up. You got to get way up. It's
Jerry
not even.
Jones sounds like he wants to give his 20 and 12 to move up.
Yeah,
so,
he does.
Yeah.
You never know. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
You know, and they could be sitting there going, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because there's so many players that we get to choose from.
Which in Dane Brugler's 7-round mock draft.
Yeah.
He has the Kansas City Chiefs at number 9, taking Ruben Bain, the edge from Miami. So Ruben Bain, Brian Thomas Jr., what does Kansas City need more? All those are different questions that we shall find out the answers to very soon. All right, more to do on the other side, including the golden moment. It's Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Where pit strategy meets pedal to the metal.
Is the tire going to make it all the way around?
Sunday at Kansas.
The fans have risen to their feet.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's voice of NASCAR. 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. If you're expecting a tax return this year, here's a smart way to use it. Invest in new tires from Big Chief Tire. It's one of the best things you can do for your car and your safety. I've been going to Big Chief for years because they do it right every time. Put that refund to good use and hit the road with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today and let Big Chief take care of you. That's Big Chief Tire.
The pollen in the air means that it is time for spring cleaning and organizing. Lauren Brooks here, and I love our organized closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, storage for every space and budget. Make sure you make an appointment today to tour their gorgeous showroom on Phillips Highway and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off free installation and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free consultation at 904-878-9393 or online at closetsbydesign.com.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, proud partner and orthopedic specialist of Jacksonville. We're honored that the Jacksonville Icemen rely on our team for their sports medicine and orthopedic care. We built this practice with one mission, to raise the bar for orthopedic care right here in our hometown. Faster access, smarter treatment plans, and better results. Whether you're recovering from a sports injury or managing joint pain, we're here to help you get back in the game, stronger and pain-free. Visit osjax.com to learn more. That's osjax.com.
What if every day felt like a private resort in your backyard? Premier Outdoor Inc., Jacksonville's #1 pool builder in the 2025 Best of Bold City Awards, creates entire outdoor living spaces, not just pools, custom pools, heated spas, summer kitchens, cabanas, fireplaces, screen enclosures, and more. Veteran and first responder owned. Turn your backyard into an unforgettable retreat. See what you could build at premieroutdoorinc.net. Premier Outdoor Inc., a visionary of hardscapes and aquatics.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web. Precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Golden Moment will be wrapping up the conversation we started a little bit ago. Some of those trends when it comes to the draft, if you missed it earlier, there was an article/thread on TikTok, one of the guys that go deep into the draft way farther than I do most years. He started analyzing different trends for the draft, and one of them that he picked apart the last 10 years for the NFL draft. And he said that when analyzing drafts, the interviews or those top 30 visits have different indications. So it doesn't technically mean because here's the 30 visits, they're going to draft one of these players. What they've seen the trend to be is the amount of the amount of interviews for this specific position group. So over the last decade, if a team uses 3 or more top 30 visits on a running back, they've selected a running back in the first 4 rounds 80.6% of the time. The wide receiver number was wide receiver visits of 3 or more. The team selected a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds, close to 60%. So some of those trends, and he breaks down a lot of the different position groups. Some were higher numbers than others. What I did see, a lot of the trends were more so the offensive side of the ball. The numbers were a little higher, but it's still, the corner and safety was pretty high when it came to if they were interviewing a lot of those players. So we looked at some of the numbers of last year. The interviews they did the most last year: wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback, and running back were the 4 highest position. The amount of interviews they did with each of those position groups. So you look at that, they got a wide receiver, they got a corner. I did say the defensive tackle, they also had 4, and they didn't come out of the draft with the tackle. So that was one of the outliers there.
That, by the way, says to me that the guys that they were interested in were off the board by the time they would have picked them.
So when you look at this year, Jaguars interviews, they don't have the 30 visits. So this is based off of interviews, virtual meetings, whether that's at the Combine, Pro Days, and then those Zoom meetings or whatever they do throughout the off season. And so now, today is the final day, by the way, that players can do their 30 visits. So I'm guessing the interviews and stuff will come to wrap to now that we're about a week away from the draft. But this year so far, the highest amount when it comes to the position group, offensive tackle, tight end, and wide receiver are the 3 highest. They've talked to 5 tight ends. They've talked to 4 wide receivers. They've talked to 5 offensive tackles so far in this. Right behind that is cornerback at 3.
That's because they're trading Brian Thomas Jr., so they need a
they need another
receiver.
wide receiver.
I'm kidding.
Antonio Williams, Caleb Douglas, CJ Daniels, Eric Rivers are the 4 wide receivers they've talked to. The tight ends, Eli Stowers, Oscar Delp, Jack Endries, Dolan Bentley, and Daquan Wright. And then
Oscar Delp, by the way, is the Georgia tight end. That's a really good blocker.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get another blocking tight end. Cornerback.
You can do more than that.
Was the next cornerback and running back. They've talked to 3. Cornerback, I mentioned this name yesterday, Chris Johnson. I like him a lot.
San Diego State.
Keith Abney and Devin Marshall are the 3 cornerbacks. And then the offensive tackles, I mentioned 5. So Markel Bell, Austin Barber, Travis Burke, Carver Willis, and Alex Harkey, were all of the offensive tackles. So far, it's that tight end, the offensive tackle, wide receivers are the most. So if anything's trending to that, then you're expecting to see in the first 3 rounds one of those position groups being drafted. The interesting part is they've only talked to 1 linebacker, and it's been your guy, Anthony Hill.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, look, it could be to keep everybody guessing.
Yeah.
Or one of those 3 position groups are going to, or more than one, are going to be addressed in the draft. They got a ton of picks. I mean, they're going to address quite a bit of positions, I would imagine. I like that they had Austin Barber, and if you could get him at the right pick, that would be a interesting addition. He just got the right demeanor. You know, we want more nasty, and they were plenty nasty, but we need them even more so. But
Dane Brugler 7-round mock draft from the Athletic has Austin Barber going pick 109 to the Chiefs.
Okay. What's
So,
that, third round?
4?
Early fourth?
Early 4th round.
Okay.
Just to, put it in perspective.
Yeah, well, 100's not too far from there.
No.
Right? With our
correct.
last 3rd round pick. So could be, look, I mean, I think if you went position of need out of those, I'd rank tackle first. Need. Not that you need a starter right now, but just overall, I would say the need would be at offensive tackle. Because we just don't know about Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wish, like I said, that someone had asked, including me, at the media availability last week, the pre-draft media availability, so how's Cole Van Lanen doing?
Yeah.
We've heard about Travis Hunter. We've heard about Caleb Bransaw, but how is he doing?
I'm sure they would give you the,
And that's probably why
he's good. He's on track.
Yeah, he's on track.
That's probably why no one asked, because they're
awesome.
expecting that.
Trying really hard. He's doing really good.
Like, if we had asked, did he have an ACL tear? Why would they answer that question?
I don't know. I mean, we found out what Travis was like 8 months later in LCL.
LCL, right. So that's why I think, like I said, people stayed away from it.
Yeah, we'll find out in September what Cole Van Lanen's injury.
Yeah, right. They'll tell us eventually.
This is not the golden moment, but this is the magic moment. Magic play tonight, play-in game at the 76ers, tipping off at 7:30. The play-in 7v8 tonight. RJ Saunders is ready with his Magic sweatshirt.
Ready. Also,
Nervous?
very much
Yeah.
so. I mean, after you're only as good as your last game, as many would say, and the last game in which you played against Boston, which was against their C team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boston sat at 7 highest leading scores, and the
Right.
Magic still lost.
yeah, not a great way to to.
Why are they so bad?
Injury. Let me count the ways.
Yeah, they still made it to the tournament.
I mean,
least,
but
though.
even on a bad year, you're a 45-win team. I think the thing is, I think a lot of them are frustrated, especially with this year. I think that many individuals thought that this year would be potentially their year to represent the East in the NBA Finals. Injuries have gotten in the way of a lot of that. I think they've tuned Jamal Mosley out, for better or for worse. I think they're ready for a new coach. I think
Makeover time.
Yeah, it's certainly makeover time, and I think a lot of questions are going to need to be answered in a lot of various areas when it comes to the Orlando Magic this summer. But that's a tough Philly team. I mean, they keep talking about. Listen, I mean, the last time Orlando was here, they beat us pretty good. We lost by 41 on our home floor. We don't want that happening again. So
yeah, right. That won't happen.
Yeah. So I mean, can you deal with the speed in which Philly's going to be bringing with VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, who now affectionately get the backcourt nickname of VJ Max. If you're looking to ball on a budget, go to VJ Max. And so you have that there. And then can you stop an X factor such as Kelly Oubre or Quentin Grimes from getting hot as well? And then the grand prize for either one of these two teams, if you get the 7 seed, is you're staying in the Northeast, and you'll be playing Boston in the 7-game series. So,
and they will have their 7 highest scores in that rematch.
Yeah,
for sure.
so it's certainly going to be an interesting dynamic to really see, what Orlando does. I mean, I have them winning this game, but I mean, if they lose it, I wouldn't be as shocked.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be locked in. That is for sure. Pest of the day on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom, who got rear-ended last year. Tom McManus here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial pound law or check out forthepeople.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, listen up. Termite swarms are active right now, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock. They silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Lauren Brooks here. Make sure you protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection that homeowners like me trust. Terminix it with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com to schedule your free termite inspection today.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
A no-risk, all-rewards path to real weight loss? Awaken 180 is so confident in your success, if you're not happy with your results in the first week, get 100% of your money back. No risk, every reward. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Welcome to indoor football. Welcome to the Jacksonville Sharks. Discover the thrill of the indoor league. Fast-paced, action-packed, and it's family fun. Be there when your Sharks take on the Orlando Pirates. Friday, April 17th at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Halftime performance by the world-famous Disconnected Canines. Ask about our family 4-packs. 4 tickets, and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. There's no better value. Get your tickets now at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. It's Country Night, presented by Roland Reese Plumbing. Dust off your boots, throw on your camo, get ready for a night full of football fun and great music. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
Fins up.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, why is it that when you look at how long a store has been in business, that it always seems to be the stores like Underwood's that sell fine quality that have been around the longest?
Frank, that's a question that really doesn't get asked a lot, but it should be. There are a number of reasons, but probably the biggest is because of the endorsements our longtime customers and their pieces of jewelry have given us through the years. You see, when you sell really fine quality jewelry, that piece will last longer and always stay beautiful. It might stay in the same family for generations. And through those years of wear, a lot of compliments will be made and a lot of people will be told where the piece of jewelry came from. You see, at a store like Underwood's, it's our stated goal to be the best jeweler in the South, not the biggest. So everything we do and carry has to help move us toward that goal. And ultimately, it's the satisfied customers wearing fine quality jewelry that have kept Underwood's in Jacksonville since 1928.
Underwood's in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Little Coldplay to close us out on this Wednesday afternoon.
This for Diana Rossini.
This might be another Coldplay moment. Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel caught, not in the act, I suppose, but caught hanging out. So he's not going to do availability, and now she has resigned from the Athletic. So I'm not going to make her the pest of the day because I've already done that. So what I'll make the pest of the day today, brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online, Terminix.com, is the Florida Bullpen. That's right. Terminix does a great job taking care of our house and several event venues around town. The Florida Bullpen did not do a great job taking care of the Gators last night. Now, granted, the really good pitchers were not going to be used last night. It is a midweek contest against Bethune-Cookman, and I'm not taking anything away from Bethune-Cookman, but Florida ended up having some guys that gave up. Two different guys gave up 3 unearned runs. And in total, Florida gave up 7 unearned runs in the top of the 7th. So that's how you lose. Yeah, that's how you lose a baseball game right then and there. But Florida will, and by the way, the score was 13-7. So Florida was hitting well, but like I said, the bullpen sucked. Florida will play host to number 13 Auburn. For some reason, that series begins tomorrow night on a Thursday. So you can hear that right here with first pitch at 7 p.m. Right here on the Superstation, 1010 a.m. and the a.m. stream. Obviously, that entire series you can hear. JU, though, won. They beat number 21 UCF 5-4. Yeah, that's right. JU plays host to West Georgia this weekend. UNF beat Florida A&M 11-2. UNF plays host to Stetson this weekend. And number 8, FSU beats Stetson 9-2. FSU plays host to Notre Dame this weekend.
Bad blood.
Taylor, I feel like you need to get
that
to Tallahassee,
there.
for that juicy
Link.
rivalry.
Boo Link.
Boo.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State's a really good. They've had their moments recently where they probably have lost some games that they shouldn't have, but Notre Dame was ranked for like 1 minute and then dropped out of the ranking, so they're not really there. But I was about to say, Florida, it's. I mean, the Bethune-Cookman's not ranked, so of course they're going to lose to that one, and then they'll sweep Auburn, and everything will be fine again. That's what it feels like this baseball team does.
It does. It does feel like that. You are correct, my dear. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Yeah, Frank, I don't know if you watched last night, but that was a painful top of the 7th inning there that Florida had against Bethune-Cookman.
You know, I mean, Bethune also beat LSU.
They did.
Bethune,
wow.
But LSU's not as good this year.
They're not, but Bethune's actually pretty good. But Florida's the weirdest damn team ever.
They are.
I mean, and no respect to JU. I love JU, but JU beats them. Bethune beats
Midweek,
them.
yeah.
But then they go to Arkansas and sweep them.
Yeah.
Then they win 2 out of 3 from Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just a.
And
college
against-
baseball's like that, by the way.
That's
It's
true.
weird.
But I told them yesterday against Georgia
Florida
or
State.
Monday.
It's
yeah,
sweet
and sweet Florida State.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But Georgia has 98 home runs this season, or at least they did as of this
Right.
weekend. I didn't pay attention to what Georgia did midweek last night, but Florida allowed 0 home runs. Like, that's unbelievable. But
Yeah.
then you turn around and, and you lose
Well,
13-7.
the way college baseball works is your best 3 pitchers pitch in those weekend games, and then whoever's left pitches during the week.
And your
Okay.
relievers
So
also are used on the weekends, your
Right.
best relievers,
Well, that's
not
right.
midweek.
So if you have those 3 great starters,
Right.
you might be really good in the conference games, but not so good during the week.
Yeah.
And so,
no Luke McNeely last night, no Josh Reitner,
Right.
and then obviously Jackson Barberry's hurt.
Yeah, and
so
all 3 of those guys you just said, and Tom, here's what's weird. When back in the day, a guy that threw hard in college threw 92, 93. That was the guy throwing hard.
Right.
Now, all 3 of the guys she just said throw 100.
Oh.
100. I mean, they're college guys throwing 100.
gosh,
It's bizarre.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. When I was talking to my buddy Brian Hurst, who was our pitcher at our ace pitcher at England when I was there. He was really good. And back then, if you threw hard, you threw 86, 87 with those guns. I mean, you really did.
Yeah.
If you ever hit 90, you threw. I mean, Nolan Ryan threw 93.
Right.
You know, so it's amazing. So,
on these guns, 105.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you remember Lee Smith, the old Cubs reliever?
Yeah. heck yeah.
Remember Lee Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee Smith tells a great story. One of my buddies went to a fantasy camp. You know, the old guys go to fantasy camp. You wear the uniforms, and then the former players come and hang out. And then after,
Baseball fantasy camp.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
no,
right.
I've heard it. Yeah.
And so then afterwards, the former players come and hang out with you. So my buddy one time asked Lee Smith, he goes, he was this great closer. How hard did you throw? He goes, with today's guns, about 140. About 140.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Speaking of baseball, we're going to have
Yeah.
Rick Wilkins in studio tomorrow.
Rick is fantastic.
Yeah,
Rick's a
he's
great
looking forward
guy.
to it.
Awesome.
Fantastic guy and was a great player. Do you remember Rick Wilkins?
I do. Yeah. I've met him a couple times
30
actually
home runs?
out. We've
Had a 30 home run season for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
That's right.
He had a 30 home run season. Great and a great catcher and really, an all-time good guy. So you'll love having
Even
Rick.
though he went to Bulls.
Yeah. You know, I had him on the horse's mouth about a week ago. And
Okay.
You know what he said about catching Greg Maddux? You could catch him with a pair of chopsticks.
Is that? I'll bet.
That's his exact
You knew where it
quote.
was. Yeah.
That's
Well,
pretty
so you
cool.
know Rick. He's a
Yeah,
great
great guy. Yeah.
Left-handed hitting. Rick's a great dude, and he was. I mean, 30 home run season. That for the Cubs. I mean, so he was a very good player.
Is it more difficult for the catchers with the ABS system, do you think?
Yeah, well, no, it's more difficult for the umpires with the ABS
Right.
system. Yeah,
but I mean, the catchers, it's so
Yeah.
important that they frame it up properly.
Well,
too.
now with the ABS system, framing doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
because the framing is supposed to make it look like it was a
Right.
strike. With the
Right.
ABS system, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to be? But I was wrong. The ABS system's been pretty good. It's been fast. It's quick. What's going to happen is now that it's happening so fast, you know what's going to happen? Each team gets 2 challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to get to where each team gets 4 challenges.
Yeah.
Or 5, and then you're really
get
going to
out of
see
hand,
it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
guess
that's what
'cause
we've
they're
seen.
thinking about it,
We've
too.
seen more issues, Frank, of the teams them not knowing when to challenge.
That's right.
We've seen more of that trying to be figured out
here's
than
what
other things.
You get 2 challenges, and the players have to decide it themselves.
Mhm.
So my guess is the veteran player gets autonomy. You don't want a rookie tapping his helmet.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
the veteran player's and then he loses.
Right.
The veteran player, what are you doing?
Yeah,
man?
why
You know,
did you
right. I mean, I don't know if anybody hazes anymore, but I'd hate to be the rookie. I'd hate to be the rookie that tapped his helmet. So
It's the second challenge gone
Yeah,
in
that's
inning
right.
2, and
Yeah.
there's
but we'll talk a little bit about baseball today. Kevin McGonigal, the Tigers rookie, just got a big contract as Connor Griffith. Everyone's paying the young guys.
Yep. That's right.
Baseball's going young like everybody else, which is different from baseball.
Yeah.
So we'll do that a little bit. And Hacker and I are going to talk about best Jaguar draft picks ever. Now, obviously, Tony and Fred and Mojo, those are the easy ones, right? After that, think about that. If you
I got one.
Okay, who's yours?
Rasheen.
Rasheen's on the list.
Yeah,
In fact, Tom, I've got a list of 10, and Rasheen's on it.
Yep.
But I mean, the best draft picks ever. So we'll
like
do
that.
all that and more coming up on the show. All right.
All right, sounds
Thanks,
good.
Frank. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Frank. All right, that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't